On the trade that I took yesterday, CPI, so August 12th, Tuesday, we had CPI at 8:30, and I took a long at 9:45, the 9:45 to 10:15 macro. So let's go ahead and get into it. So yesterday, we were looking here. Okay, we're in this overall buy model. Prior month high as the draw on liquidity. We were using this breaker as the POI. We were also looking at this here because there was a slight closure above, so I was considering taking a long if we retraced into that and showed a willingness to go higher. But the market wanted to retrace deeper into this breaker, which is a better POI anyway. And then we took off from there. Okay, we took off at 10, and we've just been running higher ever since. You can see the entry here, 638.88, exit there, exit there. And yeah, that's the trade. So let's get into the lower time frame here. We'll scrub back. And I'm going to show you the entries. Okay, there, exit, exit. Now I'm going to put this in replay mode so that way we can see what it looked like at that time. So let's just go to like around 9:30 open so that way we have the Asia range and all that aligned here. All right, so to start out the 9:30 open, we were already running higher. We had Asia SMT at the lows between ES and NQ, so that was an indicator that we're going to go long. And then we just needed price to retrace and give us an opportunity. So 9:30 opens up, runs higher. I'm waiting until 9:45 to get into the trade. So just watching at this moment, and price runs higher. Gives us a decent short. Like if you're wanting to take a short against order flow, it gave a nice opportunity. Let's zoom into the 1 minute here. And then also, I know some people got faked out with a long, but really, there wasn't a long opportunity here. If you stay on the 1 minute chart, there was really never like a CSD. And then we drop lower, lower, lower. And so at this point, we're wanting 8:30 news low, which was CPI news low, to be taken out. Okay? Because we're this close to it, and there's significant amounts of liquidity under the news low. Okay? For everybody that triggered long. And then we're just waiting. And one level that I'm actually really focused on was the 625 level. And that level comes from equilibrium between the two price cycles. So we have 750 and 23,500. And the center point is 625. So I wanted to see with this retracement if we were going to use that as support or resistance, and then from there determine an entry. So nothing here. Okay, nothing here. I know there's a bounce, but there's nothing on the 1 minute chart that tells you to get long. Okay, and we get this final run lower. Okay, we open at 10 a.m., drop lower. That's a good indicator right there. We open low on 10 a.m. That's what we're wanting to see if we're going to go long. We have 30-minute cycle SMT with ES. We have 90-minute cycle SMT with ES. Okay, you can see we didn't take that cycle with ES, but with NQ we did. All right, and then at 10:01, So we have tapped into the 625 level, and I'm down on the lower time frame at this point because I want to see how we're responding. There's no I can't see the expansions and retracements enough on this higher time frame. So I go down to the 15-second, looks okay, but I still see there's some room there where I'm going to see some expansions and retracements, and I go into the 5-second. Okay, and this is where I take the entry on that candle right there, the 10:01.50. That's the entry, and I'll back out of replay mode and show you the exact entries, but SMT at the SMR is confirmed, and what I was looking at is this breaker. Okay, so we have the high, we have a low, a high, and a new low, and then we make a new high, so we have that as the breaker. This could also be a breaker, but I went with this one. And then if we look at ES, so we have the 90-minute cycle SMT. That's SMT at the SMR already. And if we zoom in, we had an even better SMT, sub 3-minute time cycle, but we already had a time cycle SMT. So what else confirmed this was here. We had the 10 a.m. low, 10 a.m. 35-second low on ES, and then we had a new low on NQ. So we have a breaker formation on NQ, and we have a mitigation block formation on ES. So we have a low and then a higher low. So we take this up close candle as our mitigation block, and we close above it here. Okay, so we have CSD on this 5-second time frame, along with all the SMTs that I just mentioned above. And that right there was enough for me to confirm to take an entry on this candle here, the 10:01.50. Okay, so I get long, stop goes directly below the low, below the SMR low here. That's the protected low with SMT. Okay, you can see the 90-minute SMT right there on this candle. Put your stop there. It should be safe. If not, you're wrong. And that's the entry. And then from there, you just let price do its thing. So another SMT forms here. It could have been an opportunity to scale. But for me, all I did was reduce the stop once I saw that. So once I take the long here, and then price runs higher, comes back down, forms an SMT, runs higher again, I just reduce the stop to these lows because they should be protected at that point. And then if we zoom out to the 1 minute, which is where you want to manage your trade from, we also have a 1 minute CSD here with this inversion fair value gap. So we have the entry there on the 5-second. If you miss that, you could have still got long on the 1 minute chart. You're just going to have a little bit of a larger stop. But the CSD was here, so you can confirm it. The thing is, it was kind of hard to confirm it on ES because there's no PD array. So you'd have to zoom into the lower time frame. If you're going to use the 1 minute chart, this would be the fair value gap, the inverted fair value gap. So you'd have to maybe wait a couple more candles here and then take your long. But now we have 1 minute CSD. Now we just manage on the 1 minute chart. So targets were higher, the original consolidation of this market maker model, and then the higher price of the July high, which is up there somewhere. If we zoom out, we can find it, but that's really all there was to this trade. So let me go back out and we'll zoom in. So I show you the executions. And that way you know exactly where I got in and why I got in. Okay, so there's the executions. All right, right there, 10 on 150. And then really just didn't touch it from then. Just let it do its thing. And if we zoom out, kind of show you the management of the trade. So we ran higher, and all I'm doing at this point is looking for things to the left of this SMR low, from the left of 1001, to plot and to see if price respects it. So we get above that, price respects it as support. We get above this, price respects it as support. I mean, everything was playing out perfectly. Everything was being utilized perfectly, which is what you want to see in a low resistance liquidity run. We can use this fair value gap, and we closed above. Price respected it. We did consolidate here around 1030, around the 750 level, and then we manipulated lower, ran higher, and continued. And then once we closed above this candle here, okay, closed above, used it as support, ran higher. This exit was due to the SMT on the 90-minute cycles with ES. It's a good rule of thumb to take profit whenever you have a 90-minute cycle SMT. And this one was pretty significant. I could have held on to it, but as you can see at 1054, we're starting to run lower. With ES at 1054, sorry, I have to get back over here. With ES at 1054, we're here. You know, we have taken the high here at 1052. We've taken this previous 90-minute cycle, and then we're starting to run lower. So we closed in that inversion fair value gap. So at that point, you know, I'm going to take some off because I don't want to just let this trade reversal me completely. I want to make sure I take something out of it. But then we still held support and ran higher, which is okay. And then here at 1116 was the final exit, which was the high here, okay? 848, right there, prior month high, 848. So we took the profit there. And that was the trade. Okay, so it was a very easy trade once you got in, but recognizing that this was the SMR, this was the time to get in, was the important part, because there were a few moments here where you could have got caught up on the lower time frame. For example, if we zoom into that and just take a peek, it looks pretty good on the 15-second, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not focusing on the 1 minute chart and just focusing right here on the 15-second, you know, you could get caught up here with a long because maybe, you know, we have the CSD here with an inversion fair value gap and we start to run higher. And then if you look at ES, we've kind of done the same thing. The only question is, was there a significant SMT at that time? And we can look at that and see. Now, the one thing I'll tell you that I don't like is we made the low at the same time. So 950.45, we made the exact low on ES and NQ. That's really not something that I like to see when I want to get long. So let's zoom out here. And see if there's any SMT. And I don't think there is. Yeah, there's not really. There's not really a significant SMT there between ES and NQ. If you see, neither has taken the prior 90 cycle. The low's been made at 948 on the 3-minute chart. 948 on the 3-minute chart, and then 948 on the 3-minute chart here. So there's really no trade. But that's, it's just the way it is. That's why you wait for your exact protocol, you wait for your exact setup, and then you execute. So that's the long. It's about as picture perfect as you could have it be. And yeah, that's it.